and you had to manually follow it with your eyes. They make you do that with the analog stick, and what happens is you zoom in on a specific leaf, and then it would make a chime thingy, and it would like get all slow-mo and whatnot and blur, and then you would have to catch it with your two fingers. It took me forever to figure that out, and I got so frustrated, and it's apparently the one part in the game that everyone seems to hate. It's not the only part of the game that I don't like, but... And then Shuing comes up and he's like, oh, good job, do that 3 more times in a row without losing. You're like, no, come on. But the idea behind this is that Ryo needs to learn to be calm and be patient. And of course, you know, like, Shuing, she's all like, you know, I'm not going to help you. At first she's like, I'm not going to help you because you're only after revenge. And of course, like, you need to learn to not be revengeful and shit. And, if you talk to this assistant of Shuing, who you meet, her name is Fong Mei. She's like this pigtail girl who... The voice acting in general I thought was much better than the first game. The delivery and whatnot was better, and even Corey Marshall did a better job, especially that he's getting to play a more aggressive Ryo. But Fong Mei sounded like... I guess this is probably a good thing, but she sounded like someone who, from the perspective of the English dub, it's like someone where English isn't their first language. So because of that, she had a very meticulous way of talking in certain areas. Actually, the dialogue trees that you can go through with her, I found those on YouTube, and that was sort of like the deal breaker for what got me into Shenmue. I was kind of interested. She has like her own little side quest. She basically has a crush on Ryo. And, there was, I think, a bit of a translation issue, because, like, she asks you at one point, if I become the best cook in the world, will you come to see my cooking? And you have 2 options, one saying, of course, and the other one saying, I promise. If you pick, of course, she's all like, you don't know? I'm like, wait, what? No, I didn't say I didn't know. I said, yes, I will, of course. And then after he's like, well, I can't promise you, but I will if I can. And I'm just like, that's kind of weird. I don't know. I felt like that was a bit of a strange thing, personally.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
Yeah. And that's happened a couple of times. I never went through her dialogues that much. I kind of forgot about it because I was more interested in the story. It was mainly at this point where, like, you're actually living in Shuing's apartment with her. So... And, you know, that's a thing, and then you wake up and she's all like, okay, clean off these, like, pick up these books so they can be cleaned off, but don't drop them or else you'll fuck up. And it's like, you know, it's another mini game where you're carrying a bunch of books, and they make you do, like, a bunch of quick time events, like over if you trips. And you have to put them on tables and whatnot, and they'll be spread out. I never finished them. I don't even know what you get from winning. I would always get really close, though, and then the time would be up. It was basically just like a... Gameplay-wise, it was sort of a way of taking place of like a day job, I guess, sort of like the forklift thing in the first game. But obviously, story-wise, it's like, well, if you're going to live with it, you need to work for it. And stuff like that. And to sum it up, and since I need to move on to the next bit, Ryo goes to this other city in, I think it's like a tiny, I don't remember if it's Hong Kong or China, but it's like a